Hello and welcome to the Masters Swimming Podcast, available on all the major podcast platforms and on YouTube. Thanks for the little wave there, Kath. I'm Joe Malone, and joining me this week is Kath, of course, by Beth and by Kalon, back on the show and celebrating his and Devon's recent historic inter-counties victory. You also swam at the Welsh Masters yesterday, Kalon, and you won the IM Skins race, I believe.
I did, yes. Yeah.
Nice. So are you actually going to settle down now for the rest of the year? Or have you got anything else coming up?
I've got the Arena League final next weekend, and then I'm done for Christmas.
I don't believe you.
got some age group racing next weekend. Yeah,
amazing. That sounds fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, let's talk about inter-counties then. So all three of you took part, which is fantastic. Feel like I'm the only one that missed out, to be honest, but maybe next year. So Kalon, you guys won, which is absolutely fantastic. Is it the first time Devon have won, or have you won before?
No, it's the first time we've won it in its history. Yep. We tend to float around the sort of top five, but we've never. I think we finished second once before, but yeah, it's a tough competition to sort of get to the top of.
That's fantastic. And which county were you representing, Kath?
Staffordshire. Yay!
Staffordshire. Where does Staffordshire come?
16th.
60. But right, we're going to have to talk about your headgear because it's fantastic.
Okay.
so you're wearing some.
I should talk about it now because it's changing. All right.
Okay.
Look and learn. Okay. Should I talk about Staffordshire 16th and tell you how pleased we were with that?
Go for it.
All right. Well, you know what, and actually, it motivated me very, very much a few years ago to actually create Black Countries and Potteries Masters, a team that has been going for, let's just say, about 5 years now. Because really, Staffordshire was struggling. You could see the decline that had been going on for some time. Back, because I've been swimming inter-counties, it's going to be my 25th year in Masters next year. So I guess inter-counties for Staffordshire, we were pretty hot up until probably a dozen to 15 years ago. This is the best recollection I've got. And then we seemed to just decline. And I thought that one of the things that was affecting our performance was the inability of people to stick in Masters and succeed because we were so widely spread, and we were also thinly widely spread. So there was like one person trying to do Masters in Walsall, another one trying to do it in Stoke, another, Staffordshire itself is it's the longest county in the country. So that motivated me. I became highly motivated to try and create something which would help to bind us as a county in Masters and would help to enrich the inter-counties team. So to be honest, coming 16th and also starting to show some youth coming through for the first time, because honestly, it was very lopsided towards more aged swimmers, has been quite a remarkable force in a positive direction. So you might think 16th isn't exactly bells and whistles, but I can definitely see the improvement that's being made in the Masters community in the county.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And Beth, I obviously I didn't take part in it myself, but I read that it takes place over 2 different Sundays in November. So do you swim at both of those, or is it just one of those?
Just one. So I think they had most of the counties swimming on the 13th of November, but I think one set of counties couldn't do it. And
I think it's down in the southeast. I think it was southeast that had to catch up. Don't you?
They tried to run them all on the same Sunday, but depending on pool availability, it sort of this year they couldn't get the aquatic centre when they wanted it, so they ran it the Sunday after.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. So I did do a little bit of research. So there were 33 counties this time. Apparently, it's the first time that all counties in the country have competed, which is brilliant. Like we said earlier, sort of 6 events over 2 Sundays. It's been going since 2000. So it's well established right now, which is really good. And I also learned the other day, which I didn't realise, it's only 50-meter events. So Beth, did you just swim loads of 50 meters backstroke?
Yeah, literally, like so. I think I did 4. and then one front crawl, which I did not think was front crawl until I got on the block.
I love it. I love it. So how it works then is it's one county v another on any one given day. Is that right? Because you guys raced against Yorkshire.
So it's done in regions.
It's done in regions.
33 counties are split into 5 regions.
I'm with you. Okay.
So for the west region, we raced against 5 other teams, and then you sort of in your regions you compete for your regional title, and then all your results are sent off to Alan or Jerome, whoever puts some results together, and it's a virtual gala.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, that sounds really good. So when you came up against Yorkshire, then it was simply you guys v Yorkshire, but you were racing not just for your region.
So you're basically racing every other person that was in that race.
Yeah.
At the same time. So we were like the northern ones. So it was us, Cumbria, N&D, Yorkshire, Lancashire, and I can't remember. and one other will remain unspoken. So Kalon, then in that case, when you go for a race and there are, let's say 6 lanes, is it always the case that there is a swimmer from each county in that particular race from every age group, or am I totally wrong?
So that's the idea. There's some of the counties aren't able to fill some of the events.
Yeah.
So like this year, a couple of years ago, they added in the 75 plus freestyle for the male and females. And I think out of the 33 teams this year, I think there was only 7 ladies in the 75 plus.
Okay.
Because it's quite a difficult age group to fill. We didn't have one this year. The lady that usually swims it for us wasn't able to swim because she was ill.
Right.
But sort of from a team manager's, I sort of team manage with a lady called Sue Haig, and when we get new people into our team, it one of the things you have to explain to people, especially when they're anchoring relays, is that no matter what your position is in your gala, you have to go all out till the end. You could be winning the relay by 25 meters, but it's not the time you do against the people you're against. You don't know what the people in the other galas are doing, so that could change your position nationally quite dramatically. If you ease off and just win your gala, it's sort of important to produce the result for the national title sort of standing instead.
Yeah, it's a very interesting event then, and the way that it's all set up, the fact that you've got, like you said, it's like a virtual gala, and the fact that it's all 50 meters. So Kath, I know you're a sprinter, so you must really.
What I wanted to jump in and say is that I'm getting. I had a wonderful time when I was 65 and was able to enjoy intercounties tremendously. And what I actually did when I got onto the blocks to do my races was I always put the closest competitor, no matter, and it was often Sue Haig, so I'll mention her. She's a very, very good friend of mine, so I'll mention her. But I would physically name in my head the person I was actually going to be, even if they weren't in the pool, because that was the reality, So I always swam against them. And then you have a look, a week or two later when the results come out to see if you've actually managed it. So that was my approach to intercounties. I think it's it's the most eco-friendly swimming competition we do. So bear in mind the carbon reduction in holding events so much closer to home. All right. Very worthwhile comment to make.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And which pool were you racing in then, Kath, for your
this year?
Yeah, for this year.
Oh, well, there's a long story, and I'm not going to be controversial by going into this, but Midlands has been split. We've had a amputation, so we've lost the East Midlands, and there were actually only 4 counties in our event, and it was held at Wolverhampton.
Right. Okay. And what about you, Beth? Which pool were you in?
We were in Huddersfield.
Huddersfield.
Yes, that was quite nice. That's kind of the centre point between all of like the northern ones. Apart from Cumbria, that's a bit of a trek.
Okay. And is that a pool that you would race in other times of the year, or does it tend to just be for that?
It's just in the county's pool for me. It's really nice, but the wall is very slippy, and they don't have ledges, so backstroke starts are really like touch and go whether you're going to like slip or not, which is a bit annoying. But
yeah. And Kalon, were you guys in the Plymouth pool?
No, we always hold ours at Millfield
Nice.
School,
Yeah,
because it's pretty much central to the West region. So it's sort of Devon and Cornwall have got sort of an hour, 2 hours to travel upwards, and sort of Dorset and Gloucester about the same coming the other way. So it's reasonably well central for everyone.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So again, trying to get my head around what it all kind of looks and feels like, having never been there myself. But I know that Devon got 1,972 points, which is fantastic. You won 13 of the races in total.
Yep.
72 races, I think, in total. So that's fantastic. Yep. You won the fly in the back in the 25 plus, and your dad Simon actually won the freestyle and the back in the 65 plus. So fantastic achievement by the Veales for sure. Did your mum swim at this one?
She did. Yep. Yeah, she swam. She did the individual fly and backstroke in the ladies 55 plus, and she swam 4 relays.
Wow. That sounds fantastic.
Another thing to note it's different to normal master swimming. Everything's done in a 10-year age band.
Yes, a 10-year age, because of course, because you swam in the 25 plus, and let's not kid ourselves, you're not in your 20s anymore, Kalon. I'm joking, of course. Well, anyway, congratulations to Devon, and Hampshire came second, and Middlesex came third. So again, fantastic to those counties. We swam at Etwall recently, didn't we, Kath and Beth? And Kath, it was lovely to actually finally meet you in person at that event. It's a little bit like, I suppose, the intercounties, in that it's quite a different type of competition. I found this was quite a unique little open meet as well, because you obviously had the 25-meter races. Really enjoyed watching the skins as well. I mean, how did you find that event from a kind of an organisational point of view, and the fact that it is a little bit different?
Is this me?
Sorry, yes, you. Yeah.
Do you know, I absolutely adore Etwall. For quite a number of years, I was an Etwall swimmer. Peculiarly, I lived well over in the West Midlands and swam for a team in the East Midlands. Long story, won't bore you with it. And honestly, those Etwall guys who run that pool, they are so genuinely devoted to their sport, but devoted in a way that they want to bring a real quality experience to the people who participate, and it's written all over the event. I just think it's such a highly a massive integrity that they bring to the show, because it is great for swimmers of all levels, and the way that they mix up, the way that they plan it, and the enormous number of prizes they hand out. And the excitement. I mean, I'd never watched the skins with the enthusiasm, because one of our girls won it, plug, because of this new youth that we're bringing into our squad now, Sadie. So she won the skins, and it's a fabulous event. I mean, I don't know when they're ever going to be other skins for over 70s, but I'm right there for it, you know. I think they'll have to have a Zimmer frame down the side, but you know, it looks just great fun, you know, and it's so exciting. I was screaming for Britain, you know, and loving every minute. But you know, congratulations to Etwall. It is a top gala. And talking about 25 meters, we do it at the staffs as well, 25 meters, because you have to look out for these events, because they're such a good to point newbies to come, because if you've got a newbie, you know, they're probably going to not want to do any turns and stuff like that. If it's the first masters they've done, perhaps they haven't swum competitively for absolutely yonks, so they're brilliant for that. So yeah, staffs masters 15th of April next year, and then you get Etwall's coming on the 25th of November next year. So put them in your diaries and encourage as many newbies as you can. They're the best places to induct people into Masters competition.
Yeah, I do agree. But Beth, have you ever done a 25 race before?
Nah.
What was interesting was that I completely take, you know, Kath's point of view, that it's brilliant for new swimmers, you know, people, or perhaps if you've like never swum fly before and you want to give it a go, but you think 25 is probably enough for, you know, for the first time. I was watching it thinking, quite fancy a stab at this next year myself. It just looks really fun, to be honest with you. And like, you know, to be honest, I can imagine Kalon going in on backstroke. Actually, you do about 3 strokes and you'd hit the end of the wall, end of the wall. But yeah, Beth, we were talking about sort of strategies, weren't we, for, you know, racing the 100 freestyle, and you talked about the easy speed first 50 over kick, and then what you've got left on that. I nearly negative split my 100 meters, which is ridiculous. I was 0.35 off 0.35 under on the first 50, whereas compared, and I sent you them afterwards, didn't I? The other few that I'd done recently, there's sort of 2.5 to 3.5 seconds between my first and second 50, but I nearly negative split it, and it felt quite beautiful, actually.
Yeah, it works. That's what to say.
But so thinking about the actual event, then again, it is quite a unique event in that you've got the skins, you've got the 25s. Is that the first time you've done Etwall yourself, or?
Yeah, I just wanted some race practice, so I entered on Nationals weekend. Yeah, it was like really nice. It was a bit of a trek to get there, especially for like when you're Manchester way, but it was worth it. It was like really fun. Quite a tiring day, but yeah, I really enjoyed myself. Had a lot of fun. Didn't swim great, but it's all right. It was a good day out. So.
And do you think you'll try and get more of your guys on board with it next year?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think we just had, I think it obviously the entries closed on Nationals weekend, and a lot of people didn't really know about it. And then at that time, it's kind of like everyone's like done Nationals, and no one wants to swim again until like February. So it's like getting keen people swimming. So there was literally 2 of us that went, me and Chris. And we just had a great time. It was really good. I'd recommend it, and have to go back next year because I got some free swims. So that was nice. Yes,
yeah. No, I agree. But it was brilliant. I'm definitely going again next year. And yeah, I managed to grab myself a free swim too, which is great.
Yeah, I think I've got 3. That's good.
But all you need to do is pay your petrol next year, and you're sorted then, aren't you?
Yeah, it's great.
Brilliant. So Welsh Masters then, Kalon. That was we're recording this on Sunday evening. So you did that one yesterday. So how did that go?
Yep. Yeah, it was weird. Going back on sort of what you just said about the 25s, they have 25s at the Welsh Masters as well.
Oh, so it turns out they just have them everywhere then.
Yeah, and we were sat around a few people that it was their first Masters first competition swimming wise in 25, 30 years, and they were doing the 53. And so yeah, they include those as well, which is quite good fun. Yeah, it's great. It's a great meet in Newport. It's really well organised, and it's growing in popularity. I think it was fully subscribed this year.
Oh,
and
that's fantastic.
I would say one thing of note. I've been to many swimming competitions in many pools, and usually you're roasting hot. But yesterday, everyone was absolutely freezing.
Yeah,
I'm quite a big advocate in wearing like a hoodie and jogging bottoms in any pool because of the importance of staying warm before you race. But yesterday, it was an absolute necessity. I had my bobble hat on. I had a jacket on. There were people walking around in dry robes and standing in the showers before they raced.
Wow!
But it didn't stop there being some really, really good swims though. There was a lot of. I think Amanda broke the world record on the 100 breaststroke.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there were a few British records, and yeah, it was really good. There was some really quick swimming, which was nice.
No, that sounds great. Speaking of being cold on poolside, though, that's exactly the experience we had at Etwall, wasn't it? That was the first time I'd ever stood on poolside and was really cold. It was quite disconcerting, really. What did you swim, Kalon? Did you get any records or PBs?
No, I was going into it sort of not too pressured. I thought I entered the 50 and 100 backstroke, which I've broken the records for earlier in the year, and I thought it would give me a chance to swim them differently. So I sort of tried a few different things on the 100 backstroke, and then I swam the 100 medley that allowed me to qualify for the medley skins.
Great.
So with that one, they do it as the top 4 from the under 50s and the over 50s for both male and female, and you swim a three 50s off about 3 to 4 minutes, and they pick the strokes at random out of the hat, and the slowest swimmer in each round is eliminated until you end up with 2. So it's sort of for me it worked out yesterday because we had fly in the first round, we had breaststroke in the second round, but luckily enough I was against someone I only just managed to beat them on breaststroke, and we got drawn backstroke on the last round.
Yeah,
sounds great.
So for me it was perfect.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So I don't have any more competitions left this year. Etwall was my last one. Does anybody have any more competitions to go? I know you do, Kalon, sorry, but what about Beth or Kath?
Absolutely not. I'm going to be somewhere else.
You'll be somewhere else. How about you, Beth?
I have some age group swimming in a couple
Ew.
of weeks. Yeah.
Nice,
Just trying to get some age group times that are like legit instead of not legit as masters are. So that'll be fun.
It's a nice way. It's a nice way as a younger master swimmer to make yourself feel old.
Yeah.
Is that ever nice? I'm not quite sure that's ever.
You go and like, I'm in a relay team next weekend with a couple of 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old. So yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna do so I would have done arena, but it's my best friend's birthday next Saturday, so I can't do it, which is really sad. Well, not sad because it's her birthday and she's great, but yeah, sad that I can't swim. But yeah, like I'm excited to swim with like all the kids, especially the kids with trigonometry, because I've coached them, so that's really nice. And talking about feeling old, at Intercounties, my mother did a 72 plus relay, an 80 like 18 and over relay.
Okay.
And she's like 63, so that was fun for her. I don't think she enjoyed it.
well, she must have felt young there, right, compared to the lineup.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a bad thing. Well, I have to say, Etwall was only a week ago, but because I've got no more competitions for the rest of this year and currently nothing lined up for next year yet, obviously, I'm sure I will enter some stuff early in the year, but I already feel at a bit of a loose end, like I've completely tailed off my training this last week. I hardly walked in the pool because I just think competitions motivate me. So definitely something I'm looking forward to kicking off again next year. Right, we've got a little insert for you now. So I caught up with Helen Gorman after she was named Swim Wales Aquatic Athlete of the Year. So here's that now. And I'm now joined by Helen Gorman. And Helen, it's been an amazing year for you in the water. You've set 2 world records in the 100 and the 200 breaststroke. You're on course to reach 1 million meters in training by the end of the year, which is a little personal goal that you set yourself. And to top it all off, you've just been named Swim Wales Aquatic Athlete of the Year. So first of all, congratulations to you. And how do you reflect on the year as a whole?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. It's nice to be back on the podcast. I've obviously listened to pretty much all of them since you started. So yeah, well done for everything you've achieved.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the Swim Wales Award was kind of a bit of a surprise. It's not something that you aim to win, do you? I mean, it's kind of an honour, really. But yeah, I think it's really good for the profile of master swimming in Wales. So I'm really pleased about that. And it's really good for City of Cardiff as well. I don't think that the club has won a lot of awards in the past, but this year we won 3. So Graham Wardell and Dale Franceschi both won awards as well. So yeah, it was a really good night for the club. And then I went to the Swim Wales short course meet on Saturday, and I was blown away how many people had actually sat and watched it. I kind of thought it would be kind of on the quiet and people wouldn't know about it, but yeah, no, it's cool.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thoroughly deserved, of course. Was it an in-person event or was it a virtual event?
No, it's online. I think in the past it's been in person, and obviously it would have been nice to go and have that opportunity to speak to some of the best swimmers in Wales. And Maddie Harris won the top performance award, although she wouldn't have been there anyway because she was in Sheffield to race the short course at the weekend. So hopefully she'll be at the Welsh Winter Champs in 2 weeks, which I'm doing. So yeah, it's just nice to kind of meet people in an informal setting. But I can't say that my wardrobe is particularly full of fancy clothes for going out in. I'm more of your joggers and sweatshirts type of girl. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to get dressed up. Hopefully that they've said they're aiming to go back to that in the future. But I think my awards are one off for me. But it'd be nice for someone else to have that opportunity to go and enjoy an in-person evening in the future.
Yeah, definitely. You said it was a surprise to you, a big shock, and you weren't expecting it. I mean, you can't have been completely in the dark. You must have known you were in the running or something.
Yeah, well, our club said that they were nominating me. Well, they needed information of exactly how many records have you broken this year. Which I, at that point, I think I'd done 6 world records, and then I got another one before the applications went in, which was cool. But yeah, so I knew that it had gone in, and then I got an email from Swim Wales saying I'd been shortlisted, which was great. So yeah, it's as I said, it's good, really good for master swimming.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And do you get like a trophy or a certificate or anything?
I don't know. At the moment, I've got a Swim Wales chocolate chip cookie and some jelly beans and a
Oh,
bag. And
that's
I've got
better. That's better. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not expecting anything, but yeah, I got a few goodies. I think everyone that was nominated got a goodie bag, which is nice. So.
Yeah, nice one. So, a million meters. Talk me through where that idea came from. Have you ever knowingly swam a million meters before in a year, or is this the first time you've ever really thought about it?
I did it a couple of years ago. I always track my distance. I'm not obsessed with distance. It's kind of just a measure of consistency, which is probably the key thing that I look for in my own training. I don't think I ever do anything particularly overly impressive or crazy, but I think I've got the ability to be really consistent. If I'm going to do 5 sessions a week, I'll do 5 sessions a week for a year, and I'm not going to miss sessions unless I'm ill or anything like that. But yeah, I did it a few years. I don't know which was it, maybe 2019, because things haven't been normal for a few years. But it's basically, to do a million meters, you've got to swim just under 20k a week, which is kind of doable. But then you take out a bit of a summer holiday, a bit of taper time, illness, maybe work getting in the way, family getting in the way. So you've got to average over 20k a week really to hit it. And I've had a few kind of things going on the last time. I went to Lanzarote last weekend just to celebrate my 50th birthday. I did swim over there actually twice, so just to keep it going. But you've got travel time and everything, so it's getting a bit close. And then I did a really sort of pretty solid week last week, so I think I'm back on track. I'm not going to have to do a 10k swim the day before Christmas or anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask actually. How many meters have you got to go before the end of this month?
Oh, I should have added it up before I spoke to you. But I think I'll go about 50k, maybe, but no.
So you're gonna have sort of normal weeks in comparison to what you've been swimming already most of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this week, which will be a decent week, and then I've got Welsh Winter Champs. That'll be a bit of taper. But then there's still 2 weeks left, isn't there? There's the week leading up to Christmas and then the week leading up to New Year.
Correct, yes.
And I'm quite fortunate that I'm not going to be in Britain. I'll be somewhere where it's sunny and the pools are open, so I can keep swimming. But 4 weeks to do 50k, that's got to be pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I have had weeks where I've done it consistently. I've done weeks over 25k. So I don't know. It's just something for me to keep on top of. And some people have told me they've tried to do it, but actually, I think you've got to have a decent level of kind of base endurance and actually genuinely enjoy doing lots of training to be able to do it.
Yeah, but both of those things. And I think you also have to, because you said you've done it before, and it was kind of born out of the fact that you were always tracking your distance anyway. For somebody like me to say I'm going to do a million meters is totally unrealistic, because I've never swum anywhere near 20k a week. So for me, I guess it's that thing, isn't it? If you went in there knowing that it's truly possible for you, because the way that your lifestyle is and the way that you've been training for however long now, it's actually possible. Yeah,
I think it was kind of, as 2019, I had a decent year of swimming. It was a kind of hard year personally because my mum died, but I did swim well that year. So I think it was actually, I'll just go back to what I did that year. So hopefully it'll work for me now. But I don't think that I'll hit it next year, just because I'm in a different squad setup. We do a little bit less distance, we do a lot more focus on technique. And I'm doing a little bit more land work now, which is probably a different sort of stimulus. It's probably quite good for me. So I think I would struggle next year unless I went on some sort of swim track holiday next summer. But I'm not sure that's going to happen. So we'll see. It hopefully be goal achieved on New Year's Day. I'll be boring the world with look how far I've swum, or maybe at some point before that, between Christmas and New Year, when I've got to it. Yeah, it's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. So you're still enjoying the rest of this month, obviously getting the meters ticked off. You said earlier you've still got another competition. Have you already got some goals next year in mind that you want to achieve? So again, not necessarily a million meters, but other things. I'm still. It's kind of like, that's kind of what I do over Christmas and New Year, is think about what I'd like to go to Japan, but I'm wrestling with my Avios friends at the moment who don't actually fly to Japan in August, which I was relying on saving points to get over there. And the flights aren't too bad. It's just, I just need to weigh up whether I can justify the cost. I'd really like to go there, so that would be sort of the main goal for the year. Go to Japan, and the dream result would be to go to the world champs in Japan and get a world record there, I think. So maybe that, and then I might have a crack at a 400 IM next season, because I'm in a 400 medley program where I train at City of Cardiff. So maybe I should do 400 IM. And I think you've always, whether you can do it or not, you've got to believe that you can swim faster. So, I look at what I've done this year and think, where are the areas that I can improve? That's kind of what you're always looking for, isn't it? Of what can I do better?
For sure. I think if you went to the world champs and broke a world record, I think you'd have to retire there and then. It would. Yeah. It'd be phenomenal, and actually would be amazing to be there and watch it as well.
Are you thinking of coming, Joe?
I would love to come, actually. Yeah, so it's definitely on my radar. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. So you said you've got one more event still this year before the year's out.
Yeah, it's the Swim Wales Winter Champs, which I've done every year for probably the last 8 or 9 years. And I think this might be my last year kind of competing at a Swim Wales meet as a 50-year-old. And I think things have moved on a lot. There were some really, really quick times in Sheffield this weekend, and the entry list for Swansea for the Swim Wales meet looks really quick. I mean, I'm going to have to make some major drops to get anywhere near a final. So, I don't just go to those meets because I can. I go because I want to be competitive. So if I'm, it's getting to the point where I'm not making finals now. Perhaps I need to admit I am 50 years old, and I need to perhaps find some slightly different. I'm not saying I'm not going to swim next year in open age group meets, but I probably wouldn't target the winter champs, or there's certain events I probably wouldn't go to next year. So maybe a few more masters meets. Maybe look at things like the inter-counties. We don't have a Welsh team, so I'll maybe swim for one of the English counties, probably Derbyshire, as that's where I'm from. So might see there.
Yeah, you might do. Yeah, well, I'm gonna predict it now. You will be back at the Welsh champs next year doing a 400 IM.
No, I will not.
Well, listen, thank you very much. Congratulations on what has been a fantastic year so far, and we will catch up on the podcast again soon.
Thanks, Joe. Look forward to it.
And we're back in the virtual studio with Beth, Kath, and Kalon. Kath's had a little costume change, and as it's now December, there's no getting away from the fact that we all need to do some Christmas shopping over these next few weeks. So I thought we could talk about some good swimming-related Christmas present ideas. And here is Santa. Just I'm so glad we've got good video content. Now that we're on YouTube, this is exactly what we want to need. So thanks for joining us, Santa. So let's talk about...
Ho, ho, ho!
Brilliant. Blue hat as well. I like it.
Yeah.
Just for something alternative. So talking about some nice swimming gifts. What is actually on my Christmas list to Santa this year, so I hope you're listening, Santa, over there, is a snorkel, because I don't own one. And we've talked about it a lot, obviously, in training. Kath, you're an advocate of them, I know, and seen quite a lot.
Did you get a central one?
Sorry?
A central one in the middle?
No idea.
Yes, you are. Okay. Well, what you need, it's on my list of suggestions. I told you I'd done my homework. So what you need is a snorkel with that's in the centre, so it enables you to look at your arm action underwater.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I don't know why a swimmer would actually have anything else, but it's the obvious thing to do. And it's brilliant for the kid. All right. 23 quid will get you one. And I'm not selling them or trying to promote them, but I think it's one of the things I've got on my list that I think will be a real bonus to anybody particularly if anybody really wants to get into the quality of their training. Perhaps they don't get so much coaching, something like that. Then get yourself a snorkel and watch what you're doing underwater.
Yeah, I mean, I've never used one before, and we've never used them in our club before. And I think we obviously have a lot of swimmers when we, in our sessions. And I just think the general vibe in our session, because we only have 2 sessions a week as the club, is get in there and get as much volume in as possible. So kind of just doing 25 meters, 50 meters of the snorkel, I don't think is really appropriate necessarily. But because train more on my own, it's something that I'm thinking I can now really start to break my stroke down.
Yeah, can I mention another thing to go with that? And
Absolutely.
because it works with the snorkel, that's why. And that is, get yourself a pair of paddles where you only attach with your fingers, all right, strapless. And if you get those two bits of kit, then it's going to force you to certainly get a high elbow, you know, and you can really intensely look at what is going on, and because they won't stay on otherwise if you're not doing a decent position. Anyway, that's me from I've got no badges, I spent my life as a PE teacher, so I've got plenty of ergonomic whatever training. But you know, if you are having to spend any time yourself working it through, but do like 800 meters and really get some feel going, try different combinations, but watch what you're doing and use some finger paddles, just a very small connection, and you'll find you start really feeling the water.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's something I'm looking forward to. So Beth, have you got anything on your Christmas list that's swimming related?
A couple of things. But firstly, yeah, just paddles that attach to just your thumbs are really, really good, because I've just bought some.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I've just bought some for myself and they're great. You do have to concentrate, Kath, right? I have this habit of like tossing my goggles into my bag and then picking them up like 3 sessions later and they're like really scratched. So what I want is a goggles case that like clips onto the outside of your swim bag.
Nice.
I've seen like, it's like, you know, the cool thing that all the kids have. So that's what I've seen lately. And I'm kind of like, oh, I really want one of them. That looks really cool, especially with like race goggles, because you don't want to just like dump them in, and the boxes are like really clunky and they take up loads of space in your swim bag. So it's like having it on the outside is quite good. And then I'm probably going to treat myself to a new racer, since you're only supposed to have a racing costume that you get out of the box once every like blue moon, according to the swimsuit guy. So might get myself a new racing costume. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So what about you, Kalon? Anything on your list?
Sort of anything training wise. Sort of trunks, goggles, always useful, always going through that sort of stuff. A new suit at times, but I tend to sort of, if I need a new one, I'll get one before a big competition. Recovery aids are always quite good.
Yeah.
As gifts. Foam rollers, I know we all hate using them, but foam roller, massage gun, they always come in handy at all times. And there's one training aid I would say is underused, maybe underused. There's something I use quite a lot, and it's a replacement for a parachute for sprint training.
Yes.
So you can buy parachutes, which are very good for adding resistance to sprint training. But what works equally as well is what I use, and I get quite a lot of questions on it, is a sponge on a bit of string.
Yeah.
That you basically just hang off.
I have a sponge. Yeah, tight around your waist, sponge on the end of a bit of string, and it works exactly the same. It's brilliant. Yeah.
So as in, you literally, do you hand make it yourself? So you just buy a sponge, buy a bit of rope, or? Yeah,
so I've got like a travel belt that clips around my waist, a bit of string that's attached to the sponge and clips on, and off you go.
Oh, I love that. So I love the fact that works really well for you, because in my head, I can imagine that you asked for a parachute for Christmas a few years ago. Your mum and dad forgot to go and get one. So they just made that the night before and went, this will have to do. And turns out it's actually really good.
It actually came from being poor uni students. Our coach came over with resistance tools and stuff over there that they use, and all their buckets and resistance towers. And he said, right, I want everyone in the squad to come back on Monday with basically a bit of sponge attached to a string, and we used it. We used it all the time, and I carry on using it now for sort of a lot of kicking work and underwater kick, speed stuff, and things like that.
Are you still using the same sponge that you used as a uni student?
No, I think that one degraded. That one degraded a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah.
That's horrible.
I know, it's a horrible thought. Sorry about that, everybody.
No.
So what's also on my list actually is a new pair of goggles, because my brother-in-law has started swimming, mostly for fitness. I think he's likes to get into triathlons, and my mum and dad are going to get him some goggles. Hope he's not listening to this, otherwise he'll know. And I actually had a brand new pair of racing goggles that I bought back in August that are unopened. And as I was with my parents last week, I said, oh, actually, I've got a brand new pair that if you want to give them to Harry, feel free. Completely forgot. And they're like probably the best pair of goggles I've ever bought myself, and I've just gone and given them away for free. So I'm gonna have to get myself some new ones now, which is a bit of a shame. But oh well. So let's talk about general other gifts that people can have then. So, and we've gone from one end of the spectrum to the other, right all the way down to a sponge on a piece of string, which I am absolutely loving. Kath, I feel like you've probably got a list of stuff.
I have. No,
do you want to reel through that list?
I can give you 4 options depending on your price range. You can go into the 4 figures and more. You can go into the 20 quid or less. You can go into above 100 or below 100. You name it, I'll tell you.
You're going to do Santa out of a job here,
Well, I hope so. I mean, I've worked hard enough to get the credentials, haven't I, today? So yeah, go for it. What do you want, guys?
Go, give us all 4. Go from highest to lowest.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go for the now. These are thousands, so you'll get your flights paid for Fukuoka, and that won't be the right pronunciation. It's going to be an expensive trip, that one, Japan, August, but a couple of flights will knock you back a few thousand. Right, here's another one. Visit the International Swimming Hall of Fame in Fort Lauderdale. And there's a very good reason to go. Go there and buy yourself a set of biscuit cutters. All right. Now, I know that might sound, but if you've got a good mate who's very good on making biscuits, and he's also in the inter-counties team with you, I have, Lindsay Gowland. And so for our inter-counties team, she had 2 or 3 boxes of shortbread biscuits, which were lapped up by the staff's teams. And these cutters, which is preparing to diving in and swimming, are brilliant cutters. You can't get them in this country. But, as a result of bringing them back for her, she now provides the whole of the Staffordshire inter-counties with their shortbread biscuits, which they love.
Very
and
nice.
My third one on the really expensive is go and give yourself the thrill of a life by snorkeling in the Galapagos Islands.
Wow, you're shopping in a totally different market to me, Gav.
I know, 20 quid or less. A mesh bag. I think mesh bags are brilliant. Okay, because you can plug everything in it. 7 quid for a mesh bag. Have one, right? The kit or whatever else. And don't get a fancy one. Just get a mesh bag. Get an all-purpose lock for a locker, because that's always worth having.
Very good idea. Yeah.
And then you've already mentioned it. Always have a spare pair of goggles, training goggles. Find a goggle that really suits you, because everybody has a different shaped face and everybody has different. And just stick to it, because the number of goggles I've wasted in my time is unbelievable. Right. Above 100 quid, I should go for a training holiday in the Canaries or Spain. Brilliant. Why not?
Nice.
So I've never done it, but why not? Or go and do open water swims around and between islands. There's loads of places do that. Or, and we've talked about this, get the costume with your absolute dreams. Because sometimes I think you can talk about all the technologies of costumes, but if you have one that makes you feel like $1 million, that's the best way to feel when you get on the blocks at a major competition. You have to feel like you are outstanding and get the costume to feed that dream. Under 100 quid, really nice, good enough costumes, which again, you're a bit on costumes talked about. You don't need to have a really nice costume for every meet. Put that away and use something good enough. Already talked about paddles, already talked about the snorkel. Oh, why not, if you're thinking of a few open water swims, an open water jacket, they must be, and we've already heard how useful that would have been at the Newport meet at the weekend when the side of the pool was so cold. I've got a real throw-in one here. Next year, I'm going to give a bit of a plug. The World Para Swimming competition is coming to Manchester in July, and I'm sure the tickets will be available soon. So get on the website and buy some tickets to go and see the World Para Swimming Championships in Manchester. List done.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you mentioned that last one, actually, because that was something that I was thinking about having on my list, not necessarily for me, but maybe to buy for somebody else, is actually tickets to go and see a competition. That's actually something I've never done before. And obviously I know that Kath and Beth, you both went to the Commonwealth Games this year, which, you know, totally regret not going myself. Kalon, have you ever been to watch a pro competition anywhere?
Yeah, back in 2009, I went to watch Duel in the Pool in Manchester.
Nice.
That was really good. Europeans versus the Americans.
I think that's when I met you. Apparently,
it could have been, yeah.
Yeah, this is what my mum was next to the queue, and I don't remember at all. That was like
no, I don't remember at all either.
Yeah, no.
And I went to watch World Short Course as well. Can't remember what year that was in. But I've definitely watched a lot more Masters competitions than pro swimming competitions.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I like that we're having a little reunion here as well. That's cool. No, because that's just something that crossed my mind the other day. Actually, and it was you know, I was thinking about our chat, Beth, about the Commonwealth Games actually, and I just thought, you know what, it'd actually be really fun to go and watch something, you know, especially if it's in this country and it's quite easy to get to. What's sort of the best? What's the best? Can you think of the best swim related gift you've ever had that's not something that you use in the water? So, for example, tickets to go and see you know, obviously something.
Me.
Sorry, Beth. Yes. I've put you on the spot. I apologise.
Yeah, I can't think now.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Probably just like being able to go on holiday to Club Placenta every year.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's
out of the water, in the water gift.
Yeah. When do you tend to go to Club Placenta? What's the best time of the year to go? I know Kalon's gonna reel off all the answers here, but Beth, when do you normally go?
So am I. I've been to Club Placenta since I was 7 months old. Thanks.
There you go.
Wow, that's a very privileged statement. Sorry. Yeah, so we used to go in August when I was at school, and now at Uni and Beyond we go in September, and we tend to go the first couple of weeks in January as well. So me and Kalon will be out together in January, which will be really nice as well. So that's good. Yeah, so that's when we go. But you can go basically any time of year. Probably best to go not at those times because they tend to be the most expensive. But yeah, like mid-season, just before the high season, so like April after Easter and May is quite cheap at the minute. I shouldn't have said that because now everyone's going to book it and make it expensive. But
no, that sounds great.
I would say weather-wise out there, the best times to avoid are sort of end of January, February.
Yeah,
they tend to be the windy seasons, and
yeah,
it's not quite so nice training outside in
you like
high wind and sandstorms.
Yeah, and you're like swimming, and then like you pull your arm out the water, and you're like instantly cold.
Yeah, there's something quite liberating about doing that once, but if you're there for a whole week doing it a couple of times a day, it's probably a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's a new swimming brand recently launched called. Oh, sorry, Kath, go on.
Yeah. I thought you were coming towards the conclusion, so I thought I'd say this, and I have decided that I am going to be restocking my training costumes because I've very sadly put all my swimming gear away and realised that my swimming costumes are poor. They do the job, and I'm not a big fan of worrying too much about it. But when I've got to have a new hip tomorrow, so I'm going into surgery, and for me it's quite scary. But I'm kind of ready. I'm up for this. But I'm going to lose the ability to get in the pool and train for several months, and so I'm going to absolutely get a couple of lovely training costumes. And it's going to be such a buzz when I get back in the water, not only to start the pathway back to recovery, which I'll do for sure, and but it's also that kind of moral booster and make me feel absolutely great. So it will be a present to myself, I'm sure, but it's going to be two absolutely lovely costumes that I personally just like and want to wear. And you know, so I'm going to have to wait till maybe I guess it's going to be about April, May before I can get anywhere near any kind of race situation. But I mean, I will set that as a target, and I'm damn sure I'll make it. And I look forward to seeing you guys then.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you definitely deserve that present, and you know, thank you for mentioning it because I didn't know if it was something that you wanted to kind of or not. So I didn't bring it up myself, but obviously I wish you all the very best. I hope it goes well. I'm sure it will, and obviously I'm sure your recovery will go well. And I think that's a perfect idea to buy yourself a couple of really snazzy costumes. Hopefully, if you go along with your trend, they're going to be the most colourful costume on poolside, which I'll look forward to seeing. But thank you for that, and obviously all the best tomorrow. So there we go. As I say, there's a new swimming brand recently launched called Last as Fast, or Last as Fast, depending on where you come from in this country. You can follow them on social media by searching LIF Swim Gear. So they're selling swim caps, hoodies, t-shirts, water bottles, and they do have plans to expand their range of products next year. They will soon have a website as well that you can buy the products through there, but that's not quite launched yet. So keep an eye out for that in the new year. But for now, follow them on social media. They got in contact with me recently because they want to run a competition through this podcast so that all of you lovely listeners have a chance to win some of their gear. So I'm planning to run the competition later this week, probably over the weekend, so that most of you will have listened to this episode by then and that you've actually got some context when the competition comes out. So do look out for that and take part, and you can grab yourself a nice little early Christmas present. So I'm quite excited about that, and I'm quite excited to find out who wins, and I hope it's nice. Kalon, you've seen their hats. You said there were a few of the hats knocking around at Welsh Masters yesterday.
Yeah, their Christmas hats are very nice. I think I'll be entering the competition. Fancy one of them.
Yeah. Oh no, it sounds good. Yeah, they've got like a reindeer one and a Christmas pudding one, I believe.
Yeah. They look good. They stand out nicely. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. So best of luck to those guys who are just recently launching. Hope it goes well. Hope it all goes to plan with the website as well, because that will be a much better customer experience for people, I'm sure. Listen, thank you guys for joining me. Kath, best of luck tomorrow as well. Obviously, Beth and Kalon, you guys have still got competitions, so keep training hard this week. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you all very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, have a good Christmas.
Thank you very much.